bringing him in. How you doing, Thierry?
I'm doing extremely puzzled.
So, I've had you on a lot lately, but stuff keeps happening in France, man. What's going on with Macron? Is he going to survive?
Oh God! So you know what? That the prime minister of the new prime minister of Macron, the number 5 prime minister of Macron, has been kicked out, manu military, by the parliament yesterday. You know his name? His name is Bayrou. So there is a lot of people playing with his name right now, saying, Mr. Beirut, Mr. Beirut. It's just a disaster.
People having fun, huh?
Let me depict you, in fact, what has been happening during this completely crazy afternoon yesterday. Mm-hmm. So the parliament was full. Everybody was there because everybody wanted to take a revenge of Macron. Mm-hmm. After raping off, in fact, most of the party, most of the people in France, the image of our country by his LGBTQXYZ policy approach due to his acquaintance with the WEF. We remember all the image that he has been projecting through the Olympics. It was just a disaster. I had a lot of people all over the world, and especially in the Muslim world. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the advisor of the Prime Minister of Malaysia. This has been calling me after this terrible show and say, do you realize what you have been doing here, you guys? It was just like a slap in the face that we have been receiving in front of the entire world. It was terrible. So basically, what has been happening yesterday is a sort of boomerang backfire to what sort of a policy Macron has been putting together for the last 7 years. He has been destroying our economy. He has been selling all our assets illegally, taking black commissions. He has been destroying the social cohesion of the country. He has been destroying completely the diplomatic approach and the credibility of our country, because if you look at the past, France used to be a sort of power of balance, trying to measure the right, the left, the pro and the cons, and trying to find compromise. Here, he has been destroying completely this approach by putting people that are completely incompetent at the heads of our diplomacy. Example, Stéphane Séjourné was not even able to pronunciate a sentence without making dyslexic mistakes, not confusing the verb and the complements and the adjectives. It was just a disaster. This guy was not even able, in fact, to speak. And what we knew by the end of his story is that he was the lover of the prime minister that has been following up.
Oh, wow.
You see, and he was sent to Africa to promote LGBT in ancestral culture kind of countries. This is just ridiculous. Wow. So guys, they have absolutely no understanding of how the world is running, what are others' culture, what are other thinking, and so on. They were just trying to impose their LGBT blah, blah, blah agenda, which is not
much. Let me just jump in there, because we've spent a lot of time in Beirut lately, which is a French, used to be a French colony, and they're pushing that there. We've got word from our Christian fellows in Beirut, Lebanon. They're pushing the LGBT stuff through the government. I mean, that has to be coming from Macron.
Yeah, it cannot work. Mm-hmm. Those kind of societies are, patriarchal societies, and they are rejecting completely this model. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is like a heretic for them,
Yeah, totally.
So basically, if you look at the image of France after Macron, France, our country is becoming a sort of joke all over the places. People are making fun of us, and especially with the story of becoming Brigitte.
Yeah, I was going to say that's like the icing on the top right there.
If you look at all the picture of this woman, You see, sometimes she has one breast that is above the other. Sometimes she has big breast, she has no breast. You don't even understand what is going on under the story, or under the dress. I don't know. So basically, in fact, what has been happening yesterday is the visible part of the iceberg that has been running during 7 years. This guy, Beirut, if you look at his career on a political point of view, he was considered as a centrist, but in fact, he was a traitor for the socialists, and he was a traitor for the rightists. He has been putting the zizanie wherever he was putting his feet. Look at the beginning of the Macron mandates during number one. He has been propelled as the Minister of Justice and had to resign due to the fact that he was caught into a story of corruption 3 weeks after his nomination. This is just unbelievable to see this guy that has been propelled again as the head of the country in the government. This is unbelievable. So this guy he was a troublemaker everywhere he was going within his entire political career. And on top of it, what we have been hearing about 4 or 5 months ago, he has been covering up a gigantic scandal of pedophilia within, in fact, a college with which his own daughter was studying. And this has been lasting for 30 years. He was knowing about it. Thousands of kids have been raped by priests. And this guy was saying, oh, I didn't know anything about this story. Everybody was knowing. But now, with all the medias that are freeing, in fact, the speeches of those people who has been victim, and everything was spread on the public place, he has been escaping. You know how? He was saying that his daughter has been abused and she never dared, in fact, to tell him. That was just a counterfire that he has been putting together to escape this gigantic juridical trap. So basically what has been happening yesterday is the right thing. We had, in fact, to get rid of this guy. On top of it, which is even better than that, he was saying, oh, if France is in the stage on the financial point of view that we are, this is because of the French people. Of course, we were all running, in fact, the country, and we were all taking the decision, in fact, to drown the country into that trap. This is unbelievable. And instead of shrinking the budget of the states for its functional aspect, he was increasing it. And he was telling us, oh, we are going to burn as much money as we want, and you are going to be responsible, and you have to pay the bill at the end of the day. No, I am sorry. So basically, as there is a sort of anger within the population right now, all the parties, they are measuring what is going on. If you go anywhere, in any market, in every supermarket, every shop, you will hear people that are complaining, and you see this level of angriness that is growing and growing. And actually, this angriness is going to take its expression tomorrow, because on the 10th of September, everybody is going to go in the street, in fact, to block the country. There is a level of frustration in regard of the fact that any services that the state is support, in fact, to provide, we are not getting anything. We are shrunk by the level of tax that we are paying, because we are at least paying 45 to 50% to even 55% of direct tax and indirect tax. This is just unbelievable. We are the country that is paying the biggest amount of tax, and on top of it, we don't get, in fact, the service of our debt. If you look at most of the hospital right now, there is no personnel to handle, in fact, the patients. My own brother is the chief of ICU in a hospital in the South region, and he is telling me 50% of the patients that are arriving within the ambulance, at the end of the day, they are dead inside the ambulance, because nobody is able, in fact, to take care of them.
Jeez.
And why we are paying so much tax? Why we are, in fact, making sure that those guys they are leveraging, in fact, the capacity of our tax to eat caviar by the spoon, when ourselves we don't have, in fact, the privilege, in fact, to have the minimum on a social point of view. This is just unbelievable.
Just like in the UK, it's very similar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So on top of it, what has been happening the last days is a relevance of the defiance that the French population is having against his government, against Macron himself.
Mm-hmm.
The army, the chief of our army, Mr. Thierry Laurent, has been resigning after Macron sent him the order to send the troop in Ukraine. The guy say, it's out of question. I will follow up on such an order. This is my resignation. Bye-bye and good luck. We have the chief of DGSC, which is Internal Secret Services, that has been resigning because Macron has been sending the order for not investigating regarding certain type of transactions that are absolutely gigantic coming out of the country, meaning that there are some very rich people right now that are exiting the country because they don't want to pay the tax. Yeah. So basically, the Elysee is backing up fiscal evasion. And you have, in fact,
so let me just say that for our audience, you have a situation where capital's leaving the country because people are getting away from the governmental structure, but you also have the military that won't fight in Ukraine. I mean, that's essentially what you're saying, right?
Exactly. So basically, we have the heads of the state on the security level, at the highest level, who are saying, we are done, finish. Yeah. We don't want to work for you. We don't want to work with you. You are not representative of our country. You are just a traitor. Wow. This is very serious, you know. This is
very serious.
So if you look at what Macron has been doing since the beginning, we had about 4 parties, and he has been picking up people within those parties. We have the leftist, LFI, the socialist, the central with Modem, and the LR, Republican, and the 5th one is the RN, meaning the Rassemblement National.
And he's doing that to keep Le Pen's party out of the government, correct? Mm-hmm. He's making a coalition against the populists.
Exactly. So basically, he has been pushing the 2 extremists, okay, left and right, and he's picking minister within, in fact, those 4 parties that are remaining. But he arrived at a point that he cannot constitute a government. Look at the situation. In 7 years, we had 7 ministers of education. We are going to pick up a 6th prime minister. We had 4 or 5 ministers of the army, and so on. So basically, in fact, this guy is taking a person, he's preparing him as a minister. As soon as he has been cleaning the shit, he take the guys and throw it in the trash. But now, who is going to be picked up? Nobody. Because on top of it, you know pertinently that if you go to the government that is going to be constituted, your career is gone.
So what you're saying there, just so again our audience understands, you're saying that Macron has been using these people to wash the money laundering, and people know that now, so they don't want to be in the government. Is that what you're saying?
Not only this, any kind of issues. He was taking a guy, wanted to apply a policy. He knew that the policy would be against, in fact, the interest of the will of the French population. So he was forcing the threat, forcing the policy. As soon as the law was voted with the 43.6 article of the Constitution, because the parliament was completely annihilated by this article of our Constitution, if you use it, you don't need, in fact, the vote. So every time that he was seeing the vote will not go in the direction he has been deciding, he was popping up, in fact, this article and saying, you parliament, zip it, this is the law. And after the minister has been burned, he was taking the guy and throwing him out of the government. So basically, we are in the point right now, there will be nobody that's going to want, in fact, to apply to a government. Because the reputation is going to be done. As soon as a guy is going to work with him, his career is gone. It's finished. So basically,
Thierry, can you stay for one more segment? Do you mind if I run a quick break?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we'll be right back. Stay with us, guys.
Go ahead.
Watching my friends gain more and more weight. And then eventually, I got to tell you, this is a little dark, but bad diet literally killed my whole crew.
Wow.
Diabetes, a stroke. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's like, you had a stroke? You're not even 50 years old. You guys got to quit eating this stuff. Your body knows what's what. You're not conscious of this. But that's why people will go to the refrigerator and they'll grab this and that and the other and put together this outrageously elaborate combination of foods. Your body's trying to reach balance. Unbeknownst to us, our bodies are always trying to reach homeostasis. You can't eat all of this stuff and expect to live a long time. And one thing led to another, and I went, forget this. We're going to make our own product. So we partnered with one of the world's top 3 biochemists where nutrition-specific study is concerned. I said, all I want is the best nutritional and immune support product in the world. So we mix it in yogurt. It's a powder. I got a bag of it here. I keep one on the console all the time, just so I can show people.
Yeah.
And it's a powder. Now, this is not candy. This is hardcore nutrition. And sugar is an enemy. And most people do not know that the reason these bellies are showing up on people all over the place, your body makes fat to store the toxins it can't get rid of. So it just puts them over here. But I can tell you this. You take this for 30 days and then lay off of it for 2 or 3 days, and you'll go, good grief, give me some more. Skin, nails, hair growing back. Cut yourself and it heals in half the time.
I'm David Cross, and you may know me from my election integrity work, but I also own U.S. Asset Management, an investment advisory practice. I've been an advisor for nearly 30 years, and one of the questions I get asked most frequently is, do I have enough money relative to other people my age? And while that's an interesting question, it's also the wrong question. The right question is do you have enough money to sustain your lifestyle for the rest of your life? This is a question you should know the answer to. This is what we do. Check us out at us-am.com and look for our big proud American Eagle logo.
We have foot, slogging over Africa. Foot, slogging over Africa. Boot, moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. 7, 6, 11.
So Thierry, thanks for coming back for another segment. So where do we go from here in France? What do you think is going to happen?
That is going to be very, very interesting now. Let's look at what are the different options that are set up on the table. We heard that Macron has absolutely no will, in fact, to resign when he became the problem of this country. And if he want, in fact, to solve the situation on an economical and social point of view, the only thing that needs to be done is either he's resigning, which he don't want, or we kick him out of the country. But if you look at the aspect of the Constitution, if you want to impeach this guy, this is of a complexity you cannot even imagine. Even in the United States, it's not so complex, in fact, to kick him out. So let's look at the situation, how it is. He can say, okay, I'm going to take somebody of the Rassemblement National. Most of the people think that the Rassemblement National are, in fact, the opposition. It's not true. It is absolutely not true. Because Marine Le Pen has a problem. She cannot apply to election because she has a story of lawsuits on the back that has been preempted by the justice by executing, in fact, the sentence immediately, when in fact she was not in front of the court yet. It was a sort of security that they have been putting together.
Right.
the way that she will not exit the country. I don't see this woman exiting the country in regard of the political fight she has been putting together for 30 years. This is a total nonsense. So basically, this guy wanted one thing is to neutralize her. So basically, she has a chief of party. This guy is 29 years old. He's stupid. His name is Jordan Bardella. Okay, he's looking very good, like Macron is looking good. But he's totally controlled by the WEF. And if you look at the speech he has been putting together within the European Commission, you listen to this guy, you have the feeling that you have von der Leyen in front of you with a pant and a suit. This is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So basically, this guy is totally controlled by Macron. And this is the reason why it's a nonsense, in fact, to elect a guy like this. On top of it, every other party, because of reputation, what they will do is to jump on him and to say, we're going to censorship the government as soon as this guy is going to be elected. So basically, this is a dead end.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Mélenchon. It's out of question. Macron don't want to hear about him. So basically, this option is completely on the side. And on top of it, this guy is very dangerous. On the immigration point of view, this guy is totally aligned on the WEF, but for others' reasons, which at the end of the story will be exactly causing the same kind of problem that we have in regard of the number of aggressions that are perpetrated in this country every day. We are facing 150 attacks with knives every day in France. Every day. When I was young, I was going out. I've never had any problem of this kind, When you know that every day you have 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids that are getting killed by people coming from Middle East or Central Asia.
It's changing the population. Obviously, they've been told to kill as many Frenchmen as you can, just like in Germany, that's part of it, right? I mean, you got to depopulate, just like in Ukraine. That's what they're doing.
And, every year for the last 7 years, Macron has been accepting that 500,000 people coming from those countries were penetrating our territory. 500,000, which is 3.5 million of the population. And this is representing, let me think, about 5%.
Yeah.
5% of the population in about 6 years. This is just unbelievable. This is how he is controlling, in fact, the election, actually, because of dilution. So basically, he can pick up also socialists, a guy like Glucksmann, who is a CIA agent. He was totally under the control and the payroll of the CIA to destabilize Ukraine and to destabilize Georgia. Actually, he was the advisor of Saakashvili. He has been destabilizing Georgia. At the end of the story, it has been ending into a conflict during which Georgia was completely crushed. And he has been pushing Saakashvili in Ukraine to become the governor of the region of Odessa, to thank him of bringing the sniper that has been killing the people on the Maidan spot in 2014. So you see the kind of individual we are dealing with. As soon as this guy is going to pop up his nose, and in regard of the type of policy he wants to adopt, in regard of the taxation of everybody, this is going to be a total opposition. He's going to be kicked out by a proposition of censorship. So whoever is going to take over the heads of the state as prime minister is going to be expelled in the next months. So basically, what we are facing here is a major institutional crisis. And the only way that we have, in fact, to make sure we are going to solve this problem is to address the problem completely at its base. And it means to take Macron and to kick him out of the Elysee. This is the only way. The only problem that we would be facing here is that we will have about 50 days to organize the election of a president. So basically, how to print all the paperwork, how to organize the election, how to organize, in fact, the TV shows, the confrontations of program and this and that. in 50 days. This is crazy. So basically, I don't know what is going to happen. And actually, tomorrow, we will have a good taste of the way that the population has been handling the problem and what are going to be the outcome out of it.
Mhm.
When you have a full population, it's a popular movement without any political etiquette that decide we are going to block the country, you can understand that the vase is completely full.
Well, let me ask you this: we saw the Yellow Jackets years ago, and that what happened to that movement? Did it just get suppressed, or what?
Remember what has been happening. There was a ferocious repression of this movement. But during 2 years, every week, people were going in the street to protest against this guy because most of the people did not have the capacity on a monetary point of view, in fact, to face the reality of inflation. And this guy wanted, in fact, to increase the price of gasoline. So basically, this has been exploding. What has been saving him? COVID. 1 week before, in fact, the pandemic declaration, we still had, in fact, the yellow jacket in the street. And this guy was not knowing how to get rid of this movement that was not stopping. And actually, if the COVID was not on the table, this guy would be gone today. He would be gone.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, the level of protest was increasing and increasing and increasing at the point it was becoming extremely dangerous.
So does that fire in the population still exist, or is it gone?
It's there. It is there. And for one reason, it might be ignited again. That Yellow Jacket population was constituted of retired people. Okay. And what Bayrou has been doing for the last 2 weeks, he was opposing the young people with, in fact, the retired, saying, you retired, you have a lot of money. This is because of you that we have so much debt. So guys, they have been subscribing and paying every month during 30 years to get their retirement. And suddenly this guy is just pointing the finger at them saying, this is because of you. No, it was not because of them. Because they have been paying whatsoever necessary, in fact, to get retired. This is because the state is just pushing the limit of the usage of our assets for their own mean. Look at what has been happening during the COVID crisis. The Swedish guys, they have been leaving the country open and their economy has been without any problem. And there was not as much death as we have been getting, actually. Because they have been allowing the treatment. He has been forbidding the treatment. Where, in which country, you can see doctors that do not have the right, in fact, to cure their patients. Wow. Nowhere in the world. And actually, what is very surprising is that right now, the rate of mortality in France has been increasing by 12% after COVID.
Well, that's part of the depopulation agenda. You have to find ways to kill people, and that's a very good one. Let me ask you. Go ahead.
This is because of vaccination.
Yeah.
So basically, today, to come back to your question, saying what has been becoming with the Yellow Jacket, so guys, they might be on the table tomorrow in the street because they have been stigmatized by Bayrou, who was telling them, this is because of you. No, it's because of you, Mr. Bayrou, and all you guys, because during this COVID crisis, you have been increasing the debt of the country by $600 billion in 2 years. And 1 trillion in 3 years. We've never seen this before. Never.
Yeah. Let's switch gears before we run out of time here. You said that the military won't fight in Ukraine, but all of these European leaders say we're going to send troops, security force, but nothing ever happens. So what do you think is going to happen there?
This is a joke. This is a joke. Look at what has been happening. The envoy of Washington, of Donald Trump administration, has been attending to the meeting of the coalition of volunteers. And after 20 minutes, what he has been doing is stand up and say, I have nothing to do here. good luck. And you think the European, without in fact the framework, the security framework of satellite, of central command and so on, that United States can provide for NATO, they will go by themselves? I don't think so. This is the first point. The second point, population are sick and tired of Merz, of Stammer, and Macron. We don't want to hear about war because we don't have, in fact, the well-being, the resources of our well-being, and we need, in fact, to put the money to destroy another country that has nothing to do with our interests. This is stupid. And look at what our chief in command has been doing. He say, guys, I'm sorry, I'm not going to send my troop. Deal with yourself. It's your problem.
Yeah.
So basically, all over the place in Europe, this is exactly the same thing. They don't have the capacity to produce. They don't have the resources to produce because there is no more money. Their economy is completely crushed. And those guys, they still continue, in fact, to play the drums of war when, in fact, they don't have the capacity to do it. This is ridiculous. Yeah. This is absolutely ridiculous. And this entire story of Ukraine is going to collapse totally. And Trump wants to clean his hands out of it. He's completely right.
Yeah.
Completely right.
What about the EU itself? I sense that we're in a time race between these people want to collapse the European society, replace the population, kill off the original society. So they want that. Meanwhile, Europe is getting more populist. They want the wars to try to hurt the European population. What happens to the EU? It seems like a clash coming between these two sides.
If you look at the level of awareness that the European population has been putting together to understand what was at stake, you can understand that they are completely in opposition to their government. Even some leaders, they have been understanding that. Orban, Fizzo, Meloni, she has been understanding this is not its war. And she understands exactly what would be the consequences out of it because she understands who they are facing. You know, a lot of people in Europe haven't been understanding the story of Oreshnik. Oreshnik has been sending a very specific signal. This missile is impossible to intercept. You cannot predict its trajectory, and he has the capacity to distribute 36 nuclear charge in less than 9 minutes in Europe. What does it mean? It means that if they are blowing this kind of device at a certain altitude, there will be no electricity during 1 week in Europe. That means every system of defense is gone. And you want to fight Russia? Are you crazy? People start to understand what is going on here. They understand that those guys, they are playing the drum of war because they want to hide where is the real problem. The real problem is leadership and also the debt. They have been understanding that those guys, they have been pushing the mechanism of quantity easing too far. And now all those countries, they are completely ruined and they want us, in fact, to pay for the bill. And we are saying right now to those people, we are not going to pay the bill. We are going to make you paying for your own policy. And this is what is going to happen tomorrow. All those guys are going to be in the street to say, enough, we are blocking the country. Now you understand we are very serious people. And this kind of mechanism can spread all over the place. Look at what's happening in Croatia. The population every week on the weekend is in Zagreb and telling the government, don't cross the red limit. Don't even think about to go to Ukraine because you are going to face our hungriness.
Amazing, Thierry. Thank you for all your information. That's why I wanted to get you on and held you a little long there. So thank you for your time, and I'm sure I'll have you back soon because France is not going away. So anything else you want to? How can people follow you?
Well, you can go on my YouTube channel or Telegram channel, which is called Global Geopol. And I am running more and more interviews right now that I'm posting almost every day. I'm extremely solicited all over the places. It's just crazy, you know. It seems
Yeah, I
that
know.
this is becoming like a full-time job.
I agree. I understand completely. Thank you, Thierry. We'll have you back. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good day.